All right, welcome. This is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group with your Thursday night recap. Wow, what a day for the markets. S&P up 80 basis points, Qs up 84 basis points, IWM up 1.3%, and international markets very strong across the board as well. So, a really strong day. Taking a look at the technicals, we got SPY, the daily chart right here. Looks like we paused. I guess we could kind of say that you paused right at the 50-day moving average. We are back in value. Forget about the moving averages just for a second, but we are back in value. That's what I rely on, both the moving averages and I rely on the value areas. So this is where we failed on Tuesday. Failed to get back inside. Touched it. Wednesday, try to do the same thing, and then boom, all of a sudden we get back in there. So. What I will say is this. Let's see if on the S&P futures right at the 200, not 200-day moving average, right at the 50-day moving average as well. So, a lot of progress has been made over the last couple days. I think this is definitely all you can really ask for right now in terms of the price performance. Look at the Qs. Qs are all the way back up. To where we were and retracing a lot of that move, flashing a buy signal, almost an MACD crossover. But a buy signal is materializing. Need one more day for this just to make sure that that is a buy signal. But also looks like on the MACD might be showing a crossover here. Small caps, we talked about the strength there. They have had I guess you would call that a MACD crossover, but they're also above the 50-day moving average. And pretty strong this week. They've been actually outperforming the last couple of days. That's one of the things that I really like to see in the market. I've got about 3 or 4 different things that I look at that tells me that I want to go into the market heavy. One of which is small caps outperforming. So that's one. I would say right now I'm not seeing everything that I like to see moving up. I talked about iron ore pre-market. Certainly the steel names got a big bounce, which is sometimes what you get when things get a little bit oversold. Let's see if I still have that chart. I should have it someplace. I apologize if I don't have it. I had a nice chart with the percentages for iron ore, but it looks like I lost it. But I will show you just a chart of what iron ore looks like if I can get there. There we go. So a move back to the 200-day moving average in this. It's the first day, I think, at 4 days that we've seen iron ore bounce, iron ore actually up. So this coupled with some tariff talk really gave the steel names quite a bit. The steel ETF, which is SLX, was up 3.6%. You had AKS Steel, you had US Steel that really made a nice move today, right on the 200-day, huge bounce on the 200-day moving average. I confess I did not play this name. We had a bunch of traders in the room who had gotten long US Steel earlier in the week, so really they had some huge profits. I just decided not to take that trade right at this second, but. Great job. Kudos to some of the members of Tribeca Trade Group. And that's the benefit that you get of being a member of Tribeca Trade Group. We've got some really excellent traders in there. You can't take every trade out there. It's just impossible to do. But we've got some guys with some really good ideas in the trading room. So great job on a name. What did this thing finish up? 8%, I think it was today. So great job picking the spot of the 200-day moving average on that, and a real nice bounce up 7.3%. They had to sit with a little bit of pain, but certainly a pain of 2 days of being down 1.5%. Well worth it, seeing that it was up over 7% today. I think on the highs it was up over 8% today. So again, just great job by some of the members of Tribeca Trade Group today. Besides that, just another of sorry, having trouble speaking today. XME, which is the metals and mining. It's got a lot of steel names in here. It's also got a lot of miners in here, hence the name metals and mining. Nice bounce on the 200-day moving average. It actually closed, maybe a false break of the 200-day moving average. If you want to play with this one, if you want to try being long against that 200-day moving average, not a bad idea. Notice this is the 50 really curling down pretty fast. This thing obviously has to level out. But if you want to try long versus the 200-day moving average and being very disciplined, and if it fails, get right out of it. But I can't think of a better spot to try that trade right now in the XME ETF. Again, a lot of gold miners in this ETF as well. Besides that, the banks were pretty strong today. They were up 2%. There was some talk. I believe that was this morning, right? Some regarding Dodd-Frank. I think one of the Fed governors, I think it was Powell, this morning said that parts of the Dodd-Frank are completely unnecessary. That helped the banks move up. There was also, some talk about the tax plan happening sooner than later. And so this is what happens when expectations get really low. We talked about the CNN Fear and Greed Index earlier in the or their indicator earlier in the week, and it was at almost extreme fear levels. So really a lot of the bullish sentiment came out of the market the last couple weeks, and we went from one side to the other very quickly, and the expectations dropped really low. So when everybody gets on one side of the fence, a great time to play the other way. Obviously, we still have some events to get to. I think there's some, also what fueled the move today was the talk of the French election, and Le Pen, I think, is down in the polls, which I've learned at this point to completely ignore the polls. Sometimes these things happen in three. Three things that people weren't predicting was, well, we have two of them so far. Was one, the Brexit. Two was Trump winning. And three, we've got another election. So I don't know if these things happen, sometimes come in threes. So the polls are not expecting Le Pen to win. There was a huge amount of volume in. Sorry, let's see if I could find this. I'm losing all my things that I was looking at earlier today. There was a huge amount of volume today in European ETFs. I posted this earlier on Twitter. Somebody said, "Oh, it's all the short covering." I don't know. You look at some of these prints. So, for example, EWQ had, which is the French ETF, 7 point. I have this sorted by the biggest volume today versus the 30-day volume. So, for example, EWQ, the French ETF, normally trades just a little bit under a million shares, traded 6.8 million shares today. VGK, which is which is a European ETF, normally trades about 3 million shares, traded 10 million shares today. I did look through some of these prints earlier. Which one was that? VGK, right? VGK. Sorry about that. VGK. And that's the wrong symbol. VGK. And if you look at blocks over 250,000, one came up here. This is 2.9 million shares sold. So that's a sweep that's going up below the bid. That's what an IS means on a cash print. Just like I know a lot of you look at sweeps and options, it's the same thing. I used to trade, when I traded and put up big blocks of ETFs like this for institutions. That's what my career on Wall Street is ETF trading and putting up block trades like this. You would sweep below the bid to give yourself some room to hedge, especially on a trade of 2.9 million shares. That's a sale. That's not short covering. Same thing in Fez. If you look at this is another European ETF. Again, this one models Euro stocks. Look at all these. These are sales. So despite Europe being up this morning, I think people were taking some long exposure off today. Again, those are not buys. That's 1.7 million shares. It's not, so 1.7 million shares. What are we looking at? A $50 million trade. People reducing exposure. So don't let the price action fool you today. A lot of the I looked at EWQ earlier. I didn't see any big prints in this one. EWQ. I still can't type. I can't type and I can't speak today. There was a block of 2 million. I don't know what that was. That probably went up mid-market. So, keep in mind, while it's great that the market was up today, we still have this French election to get through. So that's the thing that is going to be in the headlines. I'm just not going to carry that much risk into that into that event. I just don't think it's necessary. I think we still have earnings season to get through, and I think that's also, if you can add that to the list of catalysts for today. So far, the earnings, which I have been worried about intensely, besides all these other geopolitical events going on, but I want to see a lot of names beat earnings because prices are higher now. The valuations have gone up. The PE ratios have gone up. So the earnings have to actually prove that these prices are okay. And so far, we've been seeing that. We saw that in CSX. We saw that today. Visa after the close looks pretty strong. Uh, CSX, by the way, led the transports. Transports were at 1.7%. So there's definitely some positives going on in the market. We just need to get through some of these macro events, and and we did see a lot of hedging today. There wasn't that much, despite all those things that I talked about. I was just going through the option activity for the day. There was a couple of interesting trades today. The Disney trade, which we traded in the room today, that was a really nice winner today. There's been Starbucks calls for the last couple days, but you look, continuous Micron calls every day. There's Micron calls going up. Really nice move today in the semis, by the way, which is also another nice. You can see Micron making a real nice move up today, 2.5%. This is exactly what I was looking for this to get back above the short-term moving averages and back above value. So I did take my first target. I've had this trade on for a couple weeks. Also Lowe's, I hit a target in this one as well. Finally, a nice big green candle there. The first target, I put this trade on March 31st. I'm in, I think, July calls in this one. July calls in this one, and October calls in Micron. So just patience, a lot of patience for over the last couple of weeks with chop. No basic breakdown of lows, but you have to make sure that you're positioning your trades with plenty of time so that they can get through choppy times, which it is. So you see a lot of things start to break out or start to at least turn up. Take a look at KWeb. This is the Chinese internet ETF. Names like JD.com, Baba are in here, which we caught another nice winner with Baba in the trading room this morning. But this one actually took out a VPOC today. What is a VPOC? If you're watching this video and you haven't heard me talk about this before, it's a version point of control. It's where a lot of buyers and sellers have previously met up before and price never came back to. So they often act as magnets. So for example, back here, there's a ton of volume where buyers and sellers met up before, and you could see the price, it never got filled. It's kind of like a gap, like the concept of a gap's never getting filled. So this just became filled today. We'll keep an eye if sometimes price can gravitate up there and then retreat, which I'll show you an example of that. But other times we can keep going. So hopefully we keep going there. But that was another area of the market that was really strong. XRT retail, you could look at this, and if you look at the 200-day moving average, it's not there yet. So this ETF can have some pretty powerful snapback rallies, but a lot of the rallies have been good places to fade this. So if it fails at the 200-day moving average, if you're looking for a couple shorts in the market, this XRT might be a place. If it gets rejected at the 200-day, if not, if it gets above, then maybe you want to try a long in this, because this has been a big, massive underperformer. It's basically been sideways while the rest of the U.S. equities have been going up. So here's an example for today in the 5-minute chart of the S&P. This is basically as far as we went today. If I could get this to come up, there we go. So I don't draw these lines. These lines are drawn. That purple line. I gave this to all the subscribers today. I said, hey, watch that VPOC. That could be as far as we get to. We gravitated right up there, hit it. I mean, look at this on the 5-minute bar, and we retreated. So again, extremely valuable to have this indicator on your chart. Again, I'm not drawing these lines. This is all done automatically for us. There is another one that lives up here. So maybe we could get up to there. So where did that purple line arise from? This value area all the way back from last Tuesday, where again price went pretty quickly to the downside. You noticed the price never hit this yellow line before, so we've got an indicator that actually draws that forward. And just take a look at us tagging that perfectly and retreating. So you can't make it up. I can't express how useful that is when you have something like that. Sorry, this got screwed up. You can look at SPY too. Same exact line drawn in SPY today. I mean, you touched it and that was it. So does price have a memory? Absolutely. Where there's been buyers and sellers, again, these yellow lines are where the most volume has occurred in a given time frame. So this was Tuesday's value area from Monday's price action. And again, it's amazing that it just tagged that today in S&P futures, and then retreated from there on in. So again, if you're interested in this indicator, you have to be a member of Tribeca Trade Group, which you can check out, and you could get that indicator off half price. Actually, you can order it regular price on our website if you're not a member, but I don't know why you wouldn't be a member. So you could get that for half price if you are a member of Tribeca Trade Group. So thanks for watching tonight's video. Again, not a ton of buying that we saw in options, but just a lot of things. Sentiment, I think, was all swaying to one side. So as soon as we got a little bit of good news, a couple different areas of good news between the possible tax relief, earnings being strong, and Le Pen going down in the polls, giving us a nice rally today. So thanks for watching, and have a great night. See you back tomorrow morning.